If you do not have this fund that I'm going to talk about, then whatever investment that you're up to is in danger. Ladies and gentlemen, the number one mistake over 90% make out here whenever they start the investment journey is to be excited, to rush into buying that asset, buying this one, or start that business without taking care of the number one basic, the kindergarten of investing. Are you maybe making the same mistake, or are you in the process of setting yourself up for failure? I told you that poverty has a cycle where you work so hard to get out of this block, and because you keep making the same mistakes again and again, either knowingly or unknowingly, you find yourself or your next generation in the same spot where they have to start all over again as well, battling this same poverty animal. And the purpose of this channel is to make sure that we break that poverty cycle, and of course through the right knowledge and information. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the most important goal that you need to accomplish first before you go on with your other investment journeys. Welcome to Maniversations. So before you start that business, before you buy that asset, before you go for the treasury bill, the treasury bonds, the shares, build that rental houses, make sure that you get this first. And what am I talking about? It's called an emergency fund. Let me tell you more about it because it's free to open and or rather to get one. And don't worry, this video is very short. Will be done in a few minutes. So an emergency fund is your financial safety net, or this fund that has been designed to cover unexpected expenses like your medical bills, family emergencies, repairs, or in case you lose your job without derailing your financial stability. And so before you buy stocks, you invest in this business or get into that opportunity, building this fund should be your number one priority. But why should you have an emergency fund? First, it provides you with peace of mind. Knowing very well that you have money set aside for unforeseen emergencies will always allow you to make or take calculated risks in other areas of your financial life. If anything happens to you or were to happen to you, you won't be forced to sell your other investments or cash out at a loss or sell your assets at a loss to cover this expense. And you won't have to get into debt or look for somewhere to get a loan from to take care of that situation. And number two, it protects your investments when the market dips, because it will always dip. It always goes up and then comes down. So you won't need to sell your shares in panic, yes? Because you see, sometimes when we buy the shares, the price could be, say, something like 50 shillings, and then the market goes down and the value goes down with it, and then it drops to something like 30 bob per share. And when you check out your portfolio, the net worth, you will realize that it shows negative growth or loss. But loss is not a loss until you cash it out. So as long as you do not touch it, it is just known as paper loss. So when the market recovers again, the prices could stabilize and it might go beyond the initial 50 bob that you had bought it for, and maybe go to 70 or 100, and you would have made capital gain or growth. So an emergency fund will help you in this situation so that you can go through these ups and downs without stress or without being forced to dispose of at a loss and cash out that loss. And number three, it empowers you. It gives you freedom to make choices based on what's best for you and not what's just necessary to survive or to get by. So whether it's something like pursuing a new job opportunity because you lost your job, or starting a side hustle, having that money can cushion you against all these differences. Someone told me that having money gives you options. They actually told me to repeat it until it gets to my head. So money gives me options. Money gives me options. And you see, this is very, very true. Having money is such a good thing, and it will always give you options. You don't have to do things out of desperation. So how much should you save, and where should you save it? That's a very good question. Yes, first, aim for at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. For those who have already opened an account, and those who haven't, you need to go and get yourself a money market fund account right now or soon after you finish watching this video. And why? Because a money market fund, number one, it helps your money grow in value. It is safe. Yes, it beats inflation. And once you've opened this account, and by the way, for those who have already opened an account and do not want to mix their money, it is okay. You can go and open a second one. And then after that, take a calculator and do the math. Take your monthly expenses and multiply it by 6. If your total expenses, for example, are 50,000, then multiply that by 6 and your target is 300,000. This figure that you've arrived at becomes the goal, the priority. And for those that have already started the journey, maybe you started saving but you didn't know about this, you need to call yourself into a meeting and rename. You might have to rename this particular goal that you had, and this goal becomes your first emergency fund. This is because without doing this, you're setting yourself up for failure. And until you reach that target, you should not allow yourself to jump into anything else. What I did myself is I took a goal, the 3 months one, and focused on it until I achieved it with full priority. And after that, Nika split my contribution to start financing other goals as I go for the 6 months alongside you. So if, say, for example, your expense is 50K, and then you multiply it by 3, and that makes it 150,000. So you make sure that you are not distracted until you achieve what? That 150K first. Then you need to focus all your resources, yeah, to achieve it. And therefore, if that is like 20K that you are sending there every month, which is your disposable income, you can now split. After you've achieved the first 3 months, you can now split it, whereby 10K keeps on funding your emergency fund towards the 6-month target, and the remaining 10K can now be used to go into other goals like raising capital or to buy business or buy assets, things like that. In this way, you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So once the 6 months target has been achieved, or you've achieved this target, you can now stop financing that account or reduce your contribution into it and keep working to let it reach something like 12 months worth of your expenses or thereabout. Because at this point, the majority of your 20K investment, the 20K that we had as an example, might be going to service other things. And you see, the fact is that you might not get into an emergency, and that's my prayer for you. And if you do not, this will have become a big seed fund, yeah, over time that will finance many of your projects in the future. I know starting something new is not a walk in the park. It's not something easy. Adjusting yourself to do this is not very easy, but please, you need to start somewhere. You need to start small. Get into the habit of saving consistently. Just remember that your number 1 priority before you do anything else is building an emergency fund. Ushaisikia ile story wanasemanga that pesa ikiwa huwa inaitanga pesa zingine. So prioritize it and watch it transform your approach to investing and financial security. Hey, start today. Start breaking that poverty cycle, and your future self will be grateful that you made that decision. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.